Damn, you old.
I didn't say I hit 30 yet. I said I will be hitting 30 in T minus 6 months.
Damn.
Six months and some change. Man, bro, what? I'll tell you, the whole, I'm not gonna say the social pressure, but the personal pressure of like, yo, I gotta get my shit together. Like, you know, these stocks and cryptos and trying to get the body in shape, because after 25, yo, your metabolism is not what it was back when you were drinking 151 and 4 locals, you know?
I'm feeling that right now, homie. Tell me about it, bro. I look like I got 3 kids in the possible, bro.
Yo, what?
Full dad bod. Son, I woke up the other morning, my whole left knee locked up. Like, I could barely walk in the morning. And I knew nothing the night before. So I'm only 27.
Oh, for real.
Yes.
Ludz, how age treating you? Come on now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm still young.
What's young?
21.
27 next month, but I'm still young.
Right around the corner.
All right, so age ain't hitting you yet.
Not yet. But I would say, like, I mean, I don't know if it's probably an age thing, but I feel like that whole going out, being able to be out till like all hours of the morning, wake up, go to work. We used to be able to do that shit. I can't do that shit no more. Like, I need to be in bed or in the house before 10 p.m.
That hangover hit the next morning.
Yeah, I can't be out till 3 in the morning and then be up at 6 in the morning. How was I doing that before?
That was all that college excitement. That's what we had.
Nah,
before.
for real.
Yeah.
Damn, we ain't got it anymore.
We were all in a crazy city too, so you know how that goes.
Drinking this 12% bottle probably gonna get me for the end of the night.
What you drinking on?
So it's some sake my old roommate Adrian, he got me, because we used to just sit down and sip this. You know how some people sip wine?
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that rice wine.
He got that fancy Japanese shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely came with age.
You got any like big milestones or whatever, like you trying to accomplish before 30 or by 30?
Yeah, so my first one was to quit my job, but you know, that's a little different right now. But realistically, I'm trying to finish paying off this car and a lot of credit card debt that I had from when I was in college. So I'm trying to like go into 30, you know, that's a new decade of my year. So I'm trying to go into that fresh, no debt, you know, so I can start off. And I actually want to get back into my field, video productions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I remember you was making some videos and skits back in the day.
Remember I still
man
got them up, but they a little private now. But yeah.
Ludz, what you drinking on?
That's dope. Crown Apple. We still waiting for that endorsement.
Oh yeah? You drinking Crown Apple? Oh, we sponsored.
No.
Speaking of,
this
show was brought to you by Crown Apple. Okay, we have a guest, Justin Hoyte, a good friend of ours from a long time ago. Shout yourself, Justin. Tell the people who you are.
So I am another human being out here, just cliche background, trying to make the world a better place by sharing the success stories of others, those around me, sharing education, like got from this man, Des Roy. Just teaching those that are kind of like me. You know, we ain't know nothing until we Googled it, learned it the hard way. So just aspiring to be great, man, and enjoy life for what it is.
No woe?
No woe. No Weak Opinions. It is our nonprofit now. Actually, we started off as a t-shirt brand, moved up to a LLC, and then we are now officially a nonprofit. So we're pushing pretty soon. We might be looking for some interns and some just some assistants so we can actually get fully up on our feet. But
that's
we
dope.
just out here.
Congrats with that.
That's what I'm talking about. Snaps out here, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
All the love and support, said, man. Welcome. Now go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying love and support. Like you've been there since day one, so I really appreciate it. Yep, I remember the fashion show. I still got the videos from the fashion show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He saw, for the audience that don't know, we were in a fashion show back in our college, and I remember he had some no pieces, put it on there, showed support. You know, he did his thing from early, so it's great to see the growth over the years. You know, it's only going to be greater from here. So speaking of, we've been collaborating for years, so we might as well collaborate here on this podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Ludney. Red Lite
Pod.
My name is Dez.
I thought she was frozen.
I thought she was frozen too. I'm like, damn, the internet out here acting crazy. But as always, my name is Dez. This is Ludz.
I'm Ludz.
Today we're going to talk about, as always, you know, Red Lite Pod, we talk about relationships in some way. But today we're going to talk about all of our personal relationships with police. As we all know what's going on. So
this topic brought out a bottle for Dez because y'all know he been drinking water. He need the bottle for this topic.
I do. I do. Because we all know how egregious these actions are, how numerous they are, but yet there's a lack of change. So I'm gonna let you guys take the floor first because you already know I'm gonna go off. How does this, first of all, what is your personal relationship with police before we get into the situation?
All right, let me give a full disclaimer. Yeah, I gotta give a disclaimer, right? So I love people. I really love people. Like I believe people are the most interesting things because you can learn anything from anyone. But I have gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, fuck the police, right? And it's accessing a different part of me that has like a lot of hatred to the point where it's not even like a thank you, you know, for like keeping us safe. It's just more of like is today going to be my day? So it's my relationship with them is just more of, I just dislike them. I got too much fear and hatred and animosity just because of all the shit that I'm seeing. And yeah, that's just me.
Okay, Ludz, how you feel?
So, full disclosure.
A lot of disclosure going on around here.
Yeah.
My god brother is actually, he's been in the police force for like, what, maybe 20 some years or a little bit close to that by now. So I used to be one of the people that wanted to be like, you know, not all officers, like, you know, because I know him and he's not that type of cop that's portrayed where he's gonna go and lose his cool or confuse his weapons and, you know, dumb shit like that. But like Justin said, as you continue to see the same shit happen over and over again, that shit just like unlocks a different part of you, like fuck y'all type shit. Like, cause when does it stop? When?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to see that you think, maybe once they see that we not standing for this, they'll back off. Or once they see that there's justice for these families, they'll stop. But the fact that some shit happened right during the trial, it just shows you like y'all really on some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really say, I don't have a relationship with officers, so I don't even know how to answer that. Like I just avoid them at all costs because you never know what's gonna happen or who you're gonna catch on a bad day.
So we all have a common experience being Black individuals on this podcast. All too common is us. We all drive here, right?
Yeah.
And when you're driving, how do you feel when you see red and blue behind you on the highway, on the road?
Yeah. Okay. So with me, I've actually been pulled over several times due to racial things, like just racial accusations. So now it's like that stuff is instilled in me, like that fear, because at one point I was told to shut up or they will write me for something else. Right. I was 16 when that happened.
Wow.
Another point, I had been accused of holding marijuana plants because my license plate had a decoration of it that was palm trees with coconuts. But this officer at the time was just very ignorant.
Where was this?
He said, "Where was this?"
Yeah,
Virginia.
That makes sense. The level of racism is kind of high out there.
Oh, bro, he was waiting. Another time I was pulled out the car. Mind you, never drank in my life at that point. Pulled out the car and kind of embarrassed, and for no reason, just for him to get some laughs and go back to his car. So that kind of like hit the shame. And then recently, my coworker, she could attest to this. Actually, if she wasn't there, I don't know if I'd be here.
You said your coworker gets a what?
She could attest, like she was a witness for this last situation.
Oh, okay. Attest, gotcha.
So I was over by Walmart off of 163rd out here in Miami Shores, well, North Miami, and got pulled over. Cop pulls up, yelling on the speaker, roll your window down. So I roll down the window. I'm already panicking. My two co-workers are in the back seat because we were picking lunch. So exactly what I did. I took my cell phone, threw it to the passenger seat, put everything down, and I was like, here we go. So I pull over. Mind you, it's in broad daylight. Lady comes up. She's probably about like 5'6", whatever, going off. She's like, you don't fucking hear me? I said, roll down your windows. I was like, you said window. I wrote it down. Why do I have to roll down my back windows? But I'm not asking these questions. So I wrote it down. Then she's like, you don't speak English? Are you crazy? Like, why are you making these accusations? I haven't even been able to say a word. And then you're telling me to be quiet. So you're asking rhetorical questions at the same time. Frustration to me, you have no reason to be frustrated at all, because I pulled over as soon as I could. Then she's asking for license and registration. Mind you, I got my left hand up as I'm reaching for the license and registration, because last thing I want is them to think, it comes out of a, what is it? A lot of us get the driver's manual and it comes in a black bag. Right. I do not want them thinking this black bag is going to be holding a piece. So one hand up, whatever, I reach in and pull it out. Cool, give it to her. And she's like, is this car yours? Is it yours? I'm like, yes. Mind you, the registration, it was expired. Why? Because I was battling with the Florida tolls. This is back when they were charging everybody like $50, $60 additional. You could appeal it.
I got mine suspended as well. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they be BSing and everything else. But so I was getting that situated. But after she does that, she takes it. She's like, get out the car. Go to the back of the car and put your hands on the back of the car. Yo, I am wearing a shirt that says Barry University. The two in the back are wearing a shirt that says Barry University, right? Why? Why do you feel the need to even like do all of this? So I get out, go to the back, and her backup pulls up. This dude is a solid, I'm 5'11". With shoes, I'm probably about like 6 foot. All right, on a good day. This guy, he was probably about a 6'5", 6'6". Not even trying to be racial, anything else, but he was the straight up typical skin-headed white dude, big, brolic, muscular K9 unit. We talking SUV pulls up.
So now I'm like, you off and walked out the police car.
Wait, did they even say what they stopped you for?
We didn't even get that far.
Oh,
didn't even get that far, right? So after all of this, he's just sitting in the back with the shades, the shades that are pinching his eyeballs because he's just like jacked. And he sits there and nods his head and waves, and I'm just like. So my spiritual sign is a butterfly, right? I see a butterfly, I know things are gonna be good. So I'm already shaking, avid. Like coworkers are in the back seat, they already know. And I see a butterfly. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna breathe in, I'm gonna breathe out, I'm gonna relax. She comes up after she runs the records and everything else, she comes up super apologetic. I guess she ran and she saw there's nothing on my record. All this is unnecessary. And she's like, hey, I've been there before. I understand why your license or your tags have been your tags are expired, but you got to get it dealt with. I'll write you a ticket for now, but you can get it appealed. Don't worry about it. Just get your registration updated. But in my head, I'm like, you couldn't approach with that same energy the first time, because God forbid, if I was someone and I had panicked, all this stuff, that would have been my ass, bro. If my coworkers were in the back seat, that would have been my ass. So now it's like, go ahead.
If you had something on your record, that probably would have been your ass.
Exactly.
In the moment, she didn't even see the Barry University on the shirt of the passengers. She only saw the skin and reacted off the skin.
Exactly. Mind you, I got Barry University stickers all over my car because you got to be able to pull in and park. So everything said Barry, yo. Shirt, tag on the front, tag in the back, like everything. And that, to be real with you, I think that was like the 5th time I've been pulled over on some racial shit. So now it's like instilled in my head that when I see cops, even if a cop can be in the far right lane and I'm in the far left, I still hands go to 10 and 2, right?
Nah, facts.
Head is straight up because it's like, it's traumatic, man. I used to enjoy just going for a straight drive because I'm like, driving, play some music, put on some Childish Gambino, you just ride out, you can enjoy it. But now it's like, I go for a drive, that might be my ass. I can't even enjoy that. So
yeah, man, like personally, I know exactly what you're going through. Like too many stories. While I was in Miami, I was going for a drive, we got pulled over. Now in New York, we don't have these lights. Luddy can attest to this. There were red lights that blink. In New York, we don't have red lights that blink, right? So that means stop sign. So we had no clue what it meant as we were driving because that passenger was also from New York. And we drive like, yo, what does this red light blinking mean? So we like slow down as if it's a yellow light, and then we kind of keep going. Of course, as soon as that happened, whoop, whoop, as you know, right there in North Miami, there's a police department. We get stopped. All right, cool. No big deal. Could have just said, hey, that what that sign meant and kept us on our way. Not only did he stop the car and even talk about the light, he said, where's the weed? First question he asked was, where's the weed? We look at each other like, sir, there's no weed in here. We don't know what you're talking about. He goes, you guys think I'm stupid? Huh? You think I'm stupid? He goes, no, we're just trying to tell you there's no weed in the car. He's like, oh, so why are you driving past the light so fast? Mind you, I just said we slowed down, right?
Where's the correlation?
What is the connection? Right. What?
Thank you. So he pulls us out the car, right? Gets on his radio and says, hey, we have a whatever the number was that was going on. I'm here sitting on here like, wow, this is about to be another Trayvon Martin. This was like shortly after the whole Trayvon thing happened. So of course my heart's racing. I'm here not only angry about this, but also scared as to not know what's going to happen and try not to come off aggressive because, you know, being a big guy, you know, you could be perceived as more aggressive than you're actually trying to be.
Exactly.
So
right.
with that being said, we're there trying to figure out what's going on. One cop car comes, another cop car comes. The first one was a regular police patrol. The second one was a K9 unit. The guy called the K9 unit because he thought we had weed in the car. And as we're sitting there, they even have control of the dogs. The dogs come run out sniffing us, doesn't even bark, doesn't smell anything. He asks to open up the trunk. He goes, it's either you open up the trunk or I open up the trunk and you're in a whole lot of trouble. So he said, yo, open it up because guess what? We got no weed in the car. He found nothing. He said, yeah, well, if I break it, it's okay. That's the level of energy that they were showing us during that one stop. Now that's in Miami.
That's shit.
Right? Go to Fort Lauderdale, where I live now. Right? I'm driving. It's around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is late. Now, naturally, I like to play my music. You ever see in my car, my music is loud, right? So I'm driving and my AC was broken at the time. So my windows are slightly cracked. So I'm guessing the sound exited the car. As I'm no lie in 2 minutes close to my home, cops pull me over. I literally say, hey, officer, I literally live down here. What's the problem? What happened? He goes, show me your license and registration. I'm like, all right, cool. I show him license and registration. I go ahead, get the license because it's right here in my wallet. I have to go reach to get my registration because it's in the glove box. As I'm reaching, to my non-knowledge, his buddy was standing on the other side of the car. Why, when I started to reach, did they pull out and just stand straight this way? He goes, hey, don't move so fast. I'm like, I'm getting my registration. That's all I'm doing. In that moment, I thought it was it. And I said, you could check my address on my license. I literally live right down the block. And shortly after, they said, hey, go home. So then this is what we got to go through. You know, this is what we have to survive in. Like you said, a car pulls up behind us. We're thinking, oh, it could be one of us. We could be a hashtag. It could be a t-shirt.
A hashtag.
Yeah, a hashtag.
It's crazy because the sympathy that people have for officers, I really wish they would put that into play for Black people and see why we feel the way we do. Like this officer, he had posted a video about how you could confuse a gun for a taser. Like it don't make sense. And people fucking up like this is pretty much making it harder for police that have trust in their communities and in the areas they patrol. Now they had to like build that shit up like from the ground. And a lot of people are like, damn, yeah, like I feel bad for the officers, especially the good ones, because now like everybody looking at y'all like y'all all fucked up. But my thing is, okay, yeah, y'all have to struggle to rebuild those community relations. But the experiences that Black people have dealing with officers, that shit sits with you for life. Like how do you even begin to rebuild that? You don't.
You can't. And it makes you ask the question, how could we fix this? What could we do?
Especially that since we was talking about age, especially since we're getting to the age of we're going to be having kids and bringing Black sons and Black daughters into this world. How do we create a safer place for them?
With that, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off, but I'm going to say this. I don't think we need to do anything, to be honest with you. Like we as a Black community, that it is not on our, it's not our responsibility, right? And the reason why I say this is because we have done everything underneath the sun. We have kneeled, we have marched, we have rioted, and for some reason, it's like white America, right? And mind you, I'm not trying to say that person, but the white friends I have, I love them dearly, right? Because I have seen the representation for all these like injustices, these racial injustices. But a majority of white America, they have this pre-notion that every Black person is a threat and they're a problem. So the fact that you don't reprimand, you do not chastise, you do not punish these officers who do these things, right? There's no fucking reason, sorry for the F-bomb, but there's no fucking reason why you can sit up there and just be like, oh, I thought my taser I thought it was my taser. Yo, there is a huge weight difference, right? The clicker is even different. The color is different. There's no fucking reason why she should even be allowed to get that pass. Like, no. So the fact that you guys would you would protect her with things that they would use for like legit we're talking barricades. Like, I don't know if you saw. I saw one of the pictures.
They protected the house.
Barbed wire and everything. So you would rather protect someone who you know is in the wrong, because to you it's like, whatever, it's just a black life, right? Versus you punishing them the correct way. So this is where, and I'm gonna get a little passionate on this. This is where that personal hatred is starting to come in, right? Because that could have been me, that could have been my younger brother, it could have been one of y'all. And now I got to go out here and march and witnesses people try to take advantage of this because they want to host a little fundraiser and be like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to that family. The fuck you're not, right? So it's all these different things that happen, but to you it's just like, well, it was a simple mistake. No, fuck that. You know what they should be doing? Terrorize her family, right? The same way that they're out here and you are putting that fear and that terror into every single thing. About when you kill one of us, you are scaring all of us.
Exactly.
So at this point, terrorize the family. When her daughter, son or daughter, when her kids go to school, the school community needs to bully the fuck out of them, make their lives a living hell. So when she goes home, he or she goes home, right? Then they sit there and they cry to their mother. This happened because of you, right? My life is now suffering because of you. Because congratulations. What your child now has to experience is what that person's mother has to experience, right? The father, the mother, the father, the parents.
Same extent, first of all.
Exactly. Like, not because they don't have a child that they can see when they come home to. No. So you need to sit there and watch your child cry, right? Because they don't get to do that. You need to go to work. Yo, you need to be excommunicated from your community. Everyone, when you go to the store, they need to look at you like you have COVID, like you're patient 0 with COVID 2021. Right? Solid. Like, you need to be treated like with shame, the shame walk on Game of Thrones. They need to be just completely like, of course, am I going to say kill them? Nah, hell no. Make them suffer, right?
Just throw tomatoes at them as they walk down the street.
Exactly. Like, have shame, bro. Like, every day they wake up and they got to sit there and regret, because instead of giving them this pass, like, yeah, you're terminated, but you get your pension, you get your benefits. No, fuck that, bro. Suffer. Straight up, lose all your benefits.
Oh, you're on no bail, but then the next day you get out on bail. Like,
exactly.
No, that stuff. You stop rewarding them for taking lives, right? The same way y'all want to. As somebody, it could be a simple thing, and next thing you know, you want to give them additional extra charges. No, punish them exactly like how they should be. Stop this reward process, this reward system that you have going on, because all you're doing is you're reinforcing it in other policemen. And they're going to pull the same trick. They're just going to be like, you know what? Well, I thought this, I thought that. Yeah, standing on his neck for 17 minutes shouldn't have killed him. He had pre-health conditions. All right, so let's test it out on you.
They're trying to blame the muffler and the carcinogens, or the what was it? Carbon monoxide coming from the muffler as a possible reason why he died. And to go back to the protecting the house, it's so when you hear the psychology of these police, because it's almost like you have to understand what are they thinking for them to even protect the house and not even treat them how Justin just mentioned, chastise them in a society for a wrong behavior. The police see themselves as a brotherhood, and they have to protect each other, and like they're at war with the people. That's how they think. They think it's either them or me. So yeah, they'd rather kill somebody else and not be their life. But we literally pay your dues. Your school goes to college because we pay you through our taxes. How are you thinking us as an enemy? We put food on your plate. It can't go on that way.
Like, you have a job. Your duty is to protect and serve, straight up, right? And even with the whole lieutenant, the black lieutenant that was in Virginia, right? The dude, this was a lose or lose more situation. And I saw it on IG, and this is where I clocked out. This man joined the military, became a lieutenant to protect this country. So while y'all can run around and play cops and robbers, pew pew and all this shit with your pepper spray and unnecessary excessive force, he's out here on the battlefield, right? I don't know if you saw, but they had him at the gas station. They were like, get out your car, get out your car. Both hands are out the vehicle. Yo, I not going to say how I felt, but there was a lot of rage. But with that, the dude, he asked all the correct questions, and they did not give him a chance. Then they pepper sprayed him. Finally, right after everything gets situated, they come up, and then I guess they realize, oh shit, our body cams are on. Now they want to come as a law protecting citizen or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. I don't fucking know. They get to that point where then it's like, hey, well, we did this because we followed you for 1.5 miles. You didn't pull over, and we just wanted to see what's going on. So you got us tense. I'm gonna tell you why man didn't pull over. Because if he had pulled over, and he said it was like it was a dark road. I pulled over into a well-lit area, right? So then we could talk and you can see everything. That is the smartest decision a black man can make, because if he had pulled over in a dark road, right, he got his lieutenant, his military outfit on, uniform. So in their heads, you're probably already going to assume dude has a weapon, right? If he had reached over to grab anything that he was supposed to, such as like you did, Des, who's to say they wouldn't have lit his ass up?
Exactly.
So him driving to a well-lit area, now, of course, he lost less. He was able to keep his life, but the man was pepper sprayed. And then you want to come and you kind of want to blackmail him low key, because you're like, hey, you know, I know how the army, they do it. You know, if we write you this ticket, you're going to be, I don't know, something. He was threatening something about a possible court martial and all this other stuff. And the dude, he's like, you know what? I understand. They're like, do you want to press charges? If you press charges, we're going to have to write this ticket. Why would you even say that? Right. So now it's like a negotiation. I won't write you this ticket. Sorry, I pepper sprayed you, but I'm not going to write you this ticket if you promise not to press charges against us, because we know we're in the wrong. But
is that justice?
Exactly.
Justin,
like, and you're like, go out here talking about some, I want you to go back out there and serve my country. If that was the case, you want to pepper spray them at 3 feet away.
Yeah.
Come on now, bro.
Yep.
Like,
I do want to comment though. Do you, as far as you saying, like, you don't think there's anything that we need to be doing because it's not our responsibility? I agree as far as when it comes to criminal justice or whatever goes on, like, that's not our responsibility to make sure that cops get trained properly and handle us properly. But do you not think that we have some responsibility in the home as far as educating our children and how we handle certain situations? And I do want to add that I'm aware that you could handle a situation perfectly fine and still like deal with some bullshit, still lose your life. But do you feel like we still have that responsibility to at least have that conversation and create certain expectations for our children, like from young?
Okay, so that's where I get a little like my teeth start to grind, right? Because it unfortunately we have to. I had this talk with my brother the other day about like, look, you shouldn't be going out and trying to sell stuff after 9 o'clock. He's 19.
Okay.
And I had to have this talk with him, right? And it sucked. Even having that talk with him actually kind of like pissed me off, because I thought about it. How many white Americans have to tell their kids the same thing that we would have to tell ours or our siblings, right?
Yeah.
So and that's the thing. So it's like it sucks that it is our responsibility. Like, it seems like African Americans, right? Just being Black in America, period, you have way more responsibility with way less protection. So it unfortunately, yes, we do have to at this time, right? But it sucks. Now, outside of that, I don't think there's much more that we can do on our end, you know, because it's no matter what we do, it could still be you regardless. So I don't know if I'm really answering your question. I'm trying to, but
no, I get
what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I'm trying to say that we've exhausted all of our possibilities of educating ourselves in the home, telling us how to act in the street, and it comes down to, why didn't he obey? As in, you not complying is justification for you dying. That doesn't make any sense, and it should not be. So what I think could be done is, it has to come from a political standpoint. It has to come from a monetary standpoint. Because if we own financially, which technically we do with our taxes, the police departments, if we own the senators that will enact these penalties that say, if you do commit this act, you will lose your job, you will not maintain your pension, and you will suffer. You will also get a penalty of losing some of the, I forgot what it's called, the funding that police gets, but you will lose a percentage of funding every time this act occurs, because it seems like in America the only way people learn the lesson is when it hurts their pockets.
Exactly.
Because you can be a racist all your life, go on the internet, make a mistake, quote unquote mistake, right? You just got caught, let's be honest, and when it impacts your money, you lose your investments, and now you change your behavior, though monetarily you do change. So I think what we could do as a people is, how, I don't know. I'm not at that stage of my life to figure that out, but I know it has to come from a monetary standpoint, where we move politics, we move the money to a point where we take money out their pockets for these actions. That's the only way they're going to change. Only way.
So I have a few points. First, I've heard even Black people say, like, even in the recent situation, it's Dante Wright, right?
Yeah.
Where it was even Black people saying, well, as a Black man, I've never had an issue with police pulling me over or any bad interaction. So maybe he shouldn't have ran. Like, if I was a cop and you running from me, I'm gonna do what I need to do. And that's okay.
It's ignorant.
Yes, first of all. My frustration with statements like that is, first and foremost, I can understand. I almost don't want to understand, but I can understand where somebody would have the basic mindset of, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, these things should happen and you could prevent these things. But that is not the reality. Like, you being in a position where you were lucky enough to not have had a negative interaction with the officers does not take away from somebody who has had that interaction, has fear in their heart, and their instinct is to panic and get away. Like, you can't speak to what somebody who has experienced those things are going to do in these type of situations. And it brings me to think about how are we in a world where you feel like you need to pull out a weapon on somebody running away from you. You need to kneel on somebody who you feel like is not doing what you want them to do in that moment. But on the other side of things, we can watch a whole Capitol riot where all these white supremacists did what they had to do and got away with it.
And the cops were running with them too, by the way. They were running with them,
leading them to where they need to be,
and letting them in,
taking selfies with them. So how is that justifiable? How can you explain that as a Black person to me, where that makes sense and where that lines up with justice?
Exactly.
It's not about justice. America likes to preach this philosophical, ideological way that we tell ourselves how America is, but in fact, it's the total opposite. The way the country started was with violence and with bigotry in some sense. So this level of action that we're seeing with George Floyd, with Dante Wright, and the army cop, the army guy that you had mentioned, that got pepper sprayed, it's in America's DNA to act this way. And change don't happen in DNA until generations down the line. So it's sad to say, and pessimistic, I'm going to say, it's not going to change anytime soon. It's not. It's tough.
It's not.
It's almost like, you remember that game of Mousetrap back when we were kids, when kids actually played table games?
I vaguely remember that one because it was like hard to put together.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the point is, at the end of the day, you're trapped. Right. At the end of the day, you can't win the game without getting trapped. And that's what Black people are in America. No matter how much you try to run the race, be obedient, go to school, get a college degree, have your university on your shirt, you can still be victim of these actions. So what can we do? What can we do? Now, I want to kind of touch base because we can go on this forever because we all have a lot of experiences and thoughts. Before we move, Ludz, you want to share anything before we move on?
I just had a thought, but I zoned out. Not zoned out, but it like, what's that thing called when you lose a thought?
Pops, I don't know. Pops out your brain.
I just see.
I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
It's all good because, yes. You got it?
No.
Anyway, we're speaking on shootings and violence.
Yeah, I got it.
What's up, Ludz? What's up?
Okay. I was gonna say that it's clear that of like the system, they're always gonna protect each other and put each other first. Because y'all saw that video with the that kid I forgot what state it was, but it was the Black kid. He was walking like the neighborhood and that military whatever guy
pushing him.
Was like, yo, I can't tell you how heated that video had me.
It was in South Carolina.
But anyway, it was crazy to see how. I seen how pretty much like for people who didn't see it, Black kid walking in the neighborhood. This white, what is he, military officer, whatever.
Bigot.
He was a racist white man. What he is. Let's be honest.
He's like telling him, why you here? Get off the block, like shoving him and his wife in the back, talking shit, like doing the most. And he ended up getting arrested for assault. And I was like, that's crazy because the way white officers harass Black people, y'all don't come on there, harass them, release a statement about how this is unacceptable. Like,
it's because
so
by
y'all
law
clearly are showing that this is a system where we are going to protect our own. Because when you see some shit like that happen with a different group of individuals, but still white, your instinct is to, oh no, that's assault. He needs to be locked up. And now as the military, we're going to release a statement. But when it's an officer killing people, you're saying, oh yeah, that was justifiable for somebody who wasn't even armed. Make it make sense. But like you said, we go on this shit forever.
Yeah, we would go on forever. Like the fact of the matter is, police by law aren't on the same level as citizens. I forgot what the law is called. Charlemagne shouts it all the time. But unless we change that law, police won't be tried as normal citizens when it comes to murder and manslaughter because it's a part of their duty. But speaking of shootings,
before we move on, though, my bad. I do have a question.
That's so fucking frustrating.
Do y'all feel that? This is just a thought. Do you guys feel like if that law was to be changed, that it would hinder officers from like justifiably doing their jobs if it involves a shootout or self-defense or having to shoot a victim? I mean, another person or whatever the case is. Do y'all feel like that will hinder the people who are actually rightfully doing it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jess.
No, right? And the reason why is police are able, we have seen it. We have seen it overseas. We have seen it in different countries. We have seen it in different scenarios, right? Mm-hmm. And that one out of like 50 cops, that one good cop, they're able to de-escalate. De-escalate, yes, thank you. De-escalate situations, right? Now, of course, you got scenarios where it's a straight shootout. But I think at that point, that's when you need to be granted permission for excessive force, right? So I'm going to, and this is a little nerdy in me. You ever seen the series of Watchmen?
Yeah.
Right? The series. Remember how the police, they had to go in, he had to walkie-talkie in order to get permission to grab his firearm.
Oh. Yep.
Legit, they had to buzz it. Now, granted, that was a little sabotage, so they showed the negative aspect of it. I'm not saying we're there like, oh, I need permission. No, what you need to do is you need to call in, right? Give the details of the scenario. Be honest about that, right? Mm-hmm. Body cams need to be on. There's no reason. I am tired of being like, oh, body cams were on. There was malfunctioning. No, test it before you go. Before you clock in, it needs to be on, right? So that's two situations. Now you have evidence. Now you need permission to use a firearm. The firearm should stay in the car. Now, if you're pulling up to a scenario, let's say a drug bust or something else, where you know there's going to be violence,
right?
Yeah.
Of course, they show up. Yo, over here where I lived at in Fort Lauderdale, when I had left my apartment, the SWAT team was out there, right? I thought it was me. I was like, oh, I might have dabbed in some recreational things like 2 days ago, but damn, I didn't think it was necessary for all this. Yeah. But how they showed up armed and ready to deal with that scenario. It was a child molester. They got him. Cool. Mind you, there was like 15, 20 deep with 2 SWAT cars.
Yeah.
So in different scenarios, you need to come dressed up for different occasions. There is no reason why a traffic police officer, no reason why, if all you have to do is drive up and down 595, why do you have a gun in your car?
I will say there are scenarios where like you stop somebody and boom, it turns into some crazy shit. They got a gun, they on a warrant, shit like that. So that I do get why you would need to have like some type of protection.
Well, keeping the car.
Right. I get it though. You said what?
In that instance you're talking about, Justin, because that also happened by me. We all got the text on our phone saying that there's like a SWAT in the area. Everybody stay indoors, right? So in that instance, they had to respond the way they did because the guy actually pulled out an assault rifle and shot and killed 2 cops.
Damn.
So like in instances like that, just to play devil's advocate, they would then say we have to have, these guns to protect ourselves. Right. We also have families and we're just doing our job. So it's definitely tough because even security guards have guns in them, no?
Very true.
But what I will say is like to Justin's point though, is de-escalation is a huge part of the job. Like I'm not gonna disclose like the job specifically, but I've worked jobs where I had to go inside of people's home, basically questioning them, their family, their like everything. Like, and you go into different type of situations. Like they could have drugs in the house. They could have, it could be an abusive situation, like all types of shit. And we weren't carrying anything. Like you had to learn to be able to talk to people and get yourself out of certain situations. Now, I'm not saying like as a cop, like take away guns or whatever, because like we said, like they also have families. But when you sign up for a job, you know what comes with that. Like I know if I go into somebody's house and it's an abuse case, 9 out of 10, there's a chance like some shit might go left. Mm-hmm. But you are trained to learn how to use your words and your demeanor to handle situation, because you don't have that gun to be able to be like, oh, well, let me take the easy way out and pull this out the minute I feel intimidated. No, you need to be able to talk yourself out of a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that in those fields where like there's no justification to even have anything. You can't have a knife, you can't have pepper spray, nothing at all to go into somebody's house in any type of situation. But you're telling me cops have free reign to do whatever,
and they get a pass. My thing is,
and you get a pass. Right, and you get a pass.
Your badge, instead of using that badge, which is designed as a shield to protect the people that you swore to protect, the badge is now turned to just protect you for doing whatever the fuck it is you want to do.
And we could spend 4 years to get a nursing degree, but then it takes less than a month to become a cop, and you have people's lives at your hands. Does that make any sense to you?
And you got a legal firearm, by the way, illegal. Like, I'm not going to call out no names, of course, no. But there's some people I went to high school with that were class clowns, legit. And after we graduated, they're throwing, I just got hired at so-and-so police department parties. Yep. And we're in there. Dude is chugging on a keg stand, right? And waving his taser in the air. Thank God it was a taser. Passed out on his bed. And in my head, I'm just like, how?
This is all police.
I thought y'all had to pass all these tests, but how? Like, right now, it sounds like the police force is the YMCA. Like, there's no training.
A joke, a fucking joke.
Yeah.
What's up, Ludz?
When I realized that I would never respect police officers was when I was on the job and it was a drug and abuse case. And so my supervisor told me to call the police or whatever, wait for them to come. Like, I had already went to try to interact with the person in the house, but he was on like some bullshit. So my supervisor was like, call the police, wait for them, try again. So the police come, this man come out, he on some like belligerent shit or whatever. And you know, the officer, first of all, this was a white man and a white officer. You know, the officer had the nerve to tell me to calm down and handle the situation a certain way when the white man was the one being belligerent. Like, you are an officer. We're supposed to be working together, collaborating on this case. And you're telling me I need to be the one to take fucking 10 steps back when he's the one on 10. Why are you not checking that?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I can't respect y'all, because even people that's supposed to be working for y'all, all y'all still see is going to be a skin color.
Yes,
100%. 100%. That's the struggles of being black in America, folks. You know, even the people that's supposed to protect you and save your lives, they take them instead.
And I want to give a disclaimer, right? Because I'm pretty sure people might watch this and be like, oh, y'all are just mad. You're just mad. I want you to think about why we're mad, right? And if it's only anger, no, it's a combination of anger, frustration, right? Yeah. Shame, right? All these emotions kind of go into one piece. So put yourself in one of our scenarios before you come out with all this like, oh, I've never had bad engagements with police officers. So imagine if you did.
Exactly.
Like, you really put yourself in anyone's shoes. Imagine if that was your sibling, your brother, your loved one, and knowing the fact that it could be you. I go for walks in my neighborhood. So I just want to, you know, throw it out there for any viewers. Just imagine, try to sit down, fathom, close your eyes and imagine that scenario and just think about how you would feel, all the emotions, and also see if like how you would respond and be realistic. Don't say like, oh yeah, you know, I just say yes, sir, no, sir. No, really, really, because just know if you sneeze, that could be your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And normalize public chastisement, bullying of police who take lives of innocent black people.
Bring bullying back.
Do it.
Bring bullying back. I like that.
Cyber bully them. Like, honestly, I am so serious about that one. Like, bullying.
Nah, you were dead ass. I felt it.
Like that. No, that's that great plan. Because there, what are the ramifications? You know what I'm saying? They're on them.
He said, make them cry.
Like, what do you think about it?
Not sleep at night already. Yep. Look up in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Can't go to your new job. Make them have to change their last name. Just like the Hitler family.
That is the energy. Like, I want you to hear your child crying at night because of the actions that you have made.
Right. You're racist. Your dad's a racist.
Yup. That's it. That is it.
That is it.
Spray paint the letter R on their front door.
Oh, I like that. Like a scarlet letter.
Yup.
A racist letter.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Oh my goodness. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about this shit worth you losing your job? Cause you bought to. Cause you ain't got no reason.